Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we got the Bitcoin spot ETFs in Hong Kong going live pretty soon. James Seyffert of Bloomberg highlighted the following. The 3 Hong Kong spot Bitcoin ETFs are going to start trading in a few hours. They are ready to go on Bloomberg Terminal. He also highlighted that the 3 Ethereum spot ETFs will also go live at the same time. So folks, I'm very curious as to what the inflows will be. Now, I'm not expecting anything crazy right out of the gate. I believe there's a crawl, walk, run to this, as we saw with the Bitcoin ETFs in the United States. It took a couple of weeks before it really ramped up and the inflows went nuts, right? Record breaking. You got Larry Fink smiling on TV saying, we didn't expect this. And it ended up being the best performing ETF in the history of ETFs. So we will see inflows from across the globe. Yesterday, I shared with you guys that Australia is looking to approve Bitcoin spot ETFs as well later this year. And London via the UK is looking to launch in May. So folks, we're going to see inflows, some institutions and many different folks around the globe. A lot of money is going to come into this asset class, and we are still in a bull market. We are in a pullback phase right now, and we will find a bottom and start bouncing up. It wouldn't surprise me if the market started moving within the next week, given that we have these ETFs launching. That's not a guarantee, but it's a possibility. It's probable that it could happen. So right now in Hong Kong, it is just about 9 a.m., I believe. Yeah, it's 8:59 a.m. at the time of recording right now. So they're going to go live, guys, in maybe a half an hour or whatever it may be. I don't know exactly when their trading opens up, or maybe it's at 10 a.m., but they're going live today. Hong Kong time, of course. Now, let's take a look at the top trending tokens on social media. This data is brought to you by Santiment, which is a partner of the channel. If you want to sign up for a Santiment account to get all types of crypto metrics and data and analytics, check out the link in the description. You can get a discount using the code ThinkingCrypto. Coming in with the lion's share of mentions is Masa, with a really great positive sentiment. And the reason why it's trending here pretty significantly, according to the summary, is total reward pool for Masa trading competition is 700,000 Masa. Trade $100 worth of Masa to get the guaranteed share of 170,000 Masa reward pool. So they got some sort of trading incentive here, which is pretty great. Coming in at number 2 is Ethereum with positive sentiment. Number 3 is Helium HNT with positive sentiment. We got number 4, Pledge Camp, PLG. I haven't heard of this. I don't know what that is. It comes in at number 4 here with positive sentiment. Algorand coming in at number 5, although its positive to negative sentiment is not great. Positive sentiment is at 41.9%, negative at 40.91%. So very close there. Then you have Monstera. MSTR, almost like MicroStrategy's ticker symbol, comes in at number 6 with positive sentiment. USDT on Avalanche comes in at number 7 with positive sentiment. AMP comes in at number 8 with positive sentiment. AVAX, Avalanche, I have this in my portfolio, comes in with positive sentiment. And finally, Tron, TRX, comes in at number 10 with positive sentiment. So those are your top 10 trending tokens. Now let's jump into the news, folks. Shout out to Eleanor Terrett, a journalist at Fox Business, who did some great reporting on what is happening with the SEC versus Ethereum. She tweeted out her article today stating new court filings show SEC Chair Gary Gensler believed Ethereum was a security for at least a year. So he didn't just dream this up, guys. This is not a recent thing. He's been putting his whole plan together over the past year. And I think that makes sense because they approve Prometheum's license to custody Ethereum as a digital asset security, as Gary would call it. So I think he's been setting the table here and putting together his strategy so that he can then launch the investigation with the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus and much more. So Eleanor did a great write-up here. You guys can certainly check out the article on Fox Business. But here's some details that she provided in tweets to give you the TLDR. She said the filing says the Ethereum 2.0 investigation, as it was called, was based on the SEC's belief that possible offers and sales of certain securities, including but not limited to ETH, had occurred since at least 2018. Wow. If the Gensler SEC finds Ethereum to be a security, it would contradict prior SEC guidance under Chairman Jay Clayton in June of that year. Then Director of Corporation Finance Bill Hinman stated in a speech the SEC's position that Ethereum alongside Bitcoin was not a security. Now, folks, we've talked about this ad nauseum, and it goes back to what I've been saying. They might throw Bill Hinman under the bus here and say he's the drunk uncle, but we know he ain't no drunk uncle. He knew what he was doing. He had conflicts of interest with Simpson Thacher, the law firm that was paying him, which was part of the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. So clear conflict of interest. Hinman met with Joe Lubin and Vitalik. And then yesterday, I shared with you guys a news article of what Vitalik recently said, that Ethereum under proof of work was centralized. So you can't make this stuff up, right? A lot of people trying to cover their tracks here. Gary trying to cover the SEC's track, Vitalik trying to cover the tracks as well. But this is pathetic. And this is why the SEC has fallen far from its core mission of protecting investors. It's become corrupt at its core. It's become political. And that has not changed under Gary Gensler. It's actually been amplified. So incredible what is taking place here. Now, Eleanor provides some additional context as well. She said she reached out to Tom Emmer, the GOP majority whip, who has been very critical of Gary Gensler, of course. And she said she asked him for a comment, and here's what he said. Last year, Gary Gensler refused to tell Congress if the SEC categorizes ETH as a commodity or a security. Newly released court documents show that the SEC's enforcement team was directed just weeks before Gensler's congressional testimony to proceed as though ETH is a security. This regulatory dishonesty is reprehensible. It's tainting our great capital markets, harming investors, and threatening U.S. global leadership. Yeah, but that's fine and dandy, but Gary doesn't care what you say. You can call him names, you can call him corrupt, he's a crook, but unless you take action, he doesn't care because he's got Elizabeth Warren backing him up. And look, I get it, right? There's only so much the House can do because the Democrats are in charge, and Elizabeth Warren has a lot of power, and Gary's appointed by Elizabeth Warren and the Biden administration. So they have to find ways to keep Gary accountable. And I think one way they can do that is cut his budget and reject his budget requests. We'll see if they do that. I think there's still opportunity for them to cut back his budget, as that is still in play for approval for 2025. They will bring in Gary pretty soon, I think in May, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. Will they actually take any actions? Because calling him out and saying he's doing this has not worked. The man, Gary Gensler, keeps going and doing all types of corrupt things, breaking the law, right? In the debt box situation, they get sanctioned. He doesn't care. They get called arbitrary and capricious in the Grayscale lawsuit. He doesn't care. He just continues. So what will they do? Now, Eleanor Terrett asks Patrick McHenry the same thing. What do you think about this? Here's what Patrick McHenry said, and it's very similar to what Tom Emmer said. Just months after a federal judge sanctioned SEC enforcement lawyers for lying to the court, new evidence shows Chair Gensler himself misled Congress. In testimony to the Financial Services Committee last April, Chair Gensler refused to answer questions regarding the SEC's classification of Ether. New court filings show that this was an intentional attempt to misrepresent the commission's position. Classifying Ether as a security contradicts previous statements of the SEC and Chair Gensler, yet another example of the arbitrary and capricious nature of the agency's regulation by enforcement approach to digital assets. This episode underscores the urgency of Congress passing the bipartisan FIT bill for the 21st Century Act to provide a clear regulatory framework and robust consumer protections for digital asset markets. Again, okay, you got to take action. Either you pass that bill, you cut Gary's budget. What are you guys going to do, right? Sending him letters, tweeting at him and saying these things, it's getting old now, right? Initially, I have a lot of respect for Tom Emmer and Patrick McHenry. I respect all the stuff they're doing, and I support them. But at the end of the day, it's all words unless you're taking action against this guy, right? Unless you're cutting his budget or you are doing something where he is tying him up where he cannot do these enforcement actions against good actors. And we'll see. Maybe it still has to go back to the courts. Gary wants to block the Ethereum ETFs. Maybe he gets sued by BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, and all the issuers. In addition to the industry counter-suing him, right? Consensus is suing the SEC. We got a ton of advocacy groups suing the SEC. So let's let's see what happens here, right, folks? I'm keeping it real with you all. And once again, I've had Tom Emmer on multiple times. I want to get Patrick McHenry on, but I will straight up ask them, guys, what are we doing, right? Just talking doesn't do anything. Maybe they're building their case. Maybe they're getting ready to make a big move. Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. Now, folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain, which is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains out there. VeChain is an incredible blockchain that has a lot of adoption. It's building incredible Web3 and decentralized applications and much more. They're partnered with many big brands around the world, such as BMW, PwC, Walmart, China, and many others. Recently, they had partnered with Boston Consulting Group, doing some great things. I've been a VET token holder since 2017, 2018-ish. Around then, I'm very bullish on this project. They're solving a lot of real-world problems like supply chain management and tokenization and much more. They are a very low energy consumption blockchain, very scalable and with great speed. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, folks, go to vchain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, guys, Ron Hammond of the Blockchain Association, who has been a frequent guest on this podcast, tweeted out his weekly update about what's happening in DC and crypto. And here's some important takeaways. I'm not going to read everything, but I think this is important. He said Congress is back for 4 weeks after wrapping up their latest priority for the year in the foreign aid bills. There aren't many must-pass bills left, and the election is near 6 months out. There is a lot to look forward to for crypto on the Hill. First up, stablecoins. A lot of attention on Patrick McHenry and Representative Maxine Waters. While Maxine Waters didn't vote in support of bipartisan stablecoin in 2023, she is still heavily involved and suggested to Bloomberg that a deal between the two leads is imminent. There have been reports that they are engaging Senator Chuck Schumer. This is important because in a Congress in constant gridlock, the most senior Democrat senator has proven to move things along. There is also the Lummis-Gillibrand stablecoin bill, which has several differences versus the House's. Then there's the problem of legislative vehicle. Congress doesn't have much time left to move bills, so they lump many together to save time. However, some of the bills suggested as vehicles or to be paired with a potential stablecoin bill also carry their own political baggage. So, folks, there seems to be some high probability here that the stablecoin bill could make it through. It's not 100%, of course, right? They're engaging with Senator Chuck Schumer, so that's a good sign as far as getting bills through. So we'll see, but you know, it's not very likely. My gut tells me they're not getting anything through this year just because of the election, but I think definitely next year. But then again, it could be they make it halfway in a sense that it gets out of the House, but then it still has to go to the Senate. And then, of course, it has to go to the president. So hopefully they can get it out of the House. That would be a big win and a big step that we've not gotten that far in the history of the crypto industry. So if we can get it out of the House and then send it over to the Senate, guys, I think that would be a big win. It'll give us a lot of momentum as we head into next year. So let's see. Call up your representatives, email, tweet, do what you got to do to drum up as much noise, guys. But if we can get stablecoin regulation out, that would be very bullish for the market. Even if we don't get market structure, it will just set the tone that things are progressing. And once you get stablecoin through, I think it'll be easy to get the market structure through as well. So fingers crossed, folks. I'm optimistic, but more so for next year. Well, folks, that's the news. Friendly reminder, my book, Rethinking Crypto, The Crash of FTX and the Rise of Safer, Stronger Digital Assets, is live on Amazon in digital and paperback format. Please grab a copy and support the podcast. Give it as a gift to someone who's still on the fence about crypto and wants to learn more. Guys, this book covers everything. The regulatory battles, the Bitcoin ETF race, why FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried was not a crypto issue, but more of a failure of the regulators, a bad actor like Bernie Madoff who showed up in the crypto industry. And I talk about the future of crypto, tokenization, NFTs, CBDCs, and much more. Folks, those of you who are in the tri-state area around New York City, I have my book signing event tomorrow, April 30th at 6:30 p.m. It will be in the financial district right across the street from the Wall Street Bull. In fact, the building is like literally in front of the Wall Street Bull. So stop by, come get a signed copy of the book, come hang out and grab some food as well, guys. Links will be in the description for you to RSVP. Check it out. I hope you all can make it out, those of you who are in the area, of course. And don't forget, grab a copy of the book, guys. It really helps to support me in the podcast and get the message of crypto out there. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.